Hello and welcome back to Harryshootspeople. This week, Harryshootspeople went international with a trip to Lisbon, and I thought since I was going to be taking pictures anyway, I'd turn it into a vlog too. So, ever wondered what shooting film in Lisbon's like? Look no further. After a wonderful landing, courtesy of Ryanair, we were greeted by a sign of things to come, rain.
Walk the aircraft using both the forward and rear doors.
Our apartment was actually surprisingly nice and decorated in quite a cool way. It had loads of cool stuff just stuck to the walls. And here's me in said apartment. Hola, bom dia. We're in Portugal now, first full day. Today we're going to be shooting the Ultramax because it's going to be sunny for about 3 hours and then chuck it down for the rest of the day. So I thought the Ultramax would be a nice middle ground between the two. Bringing out the Contax G1, got the 28mm car Zeiss as per usual. So yeah, we'll load this up and take a walk around the lovely city of Lisbon. Obrigado.
What kind of bird is that? Sounds like the one from Up. Sounds like Kevin.
Kevin from Up.
G1 in Lisbon.
G1 in Lisbon. Cathedral. Lisbon Cathedral.
OMG. Wow!
Sorry, people of Lisbon. Day one of Lisbon. Wow. Yes, Queen. Ooh. We headed out to Time Out Market, which is like this huge food market, and we got these burgers, which were pretty banging. So, shout out to Time Out Market in Lisbon. And then after a long day of taking out of focus pictures, we decided we'd get some food, chill out and watch like a traditional Portuguese film. Bom dia everyone, is day 2 in Portugal, and today is looking a little bit sunnier. Hopefully it's going to be sunny all day, so we've still got about half the Ultramax from yesterday in, but I thought I'd bring the Portra 400 along with me just in case and see if we can make the most of the one day of sun this week. So yeah, I think today we're heading to a flea market and then just gonna seize the day after that. So see what we get up to. Let's go, vamonos. Obrigado. And just like I said, it remained sunny and didn't rain at all throughout the rest of the day. But in spite of adverse weather and the wrong directions, we did in fact make it to the market. The market was actually pretty cool. They had loads of different stalls with different kind of stuff there, as you would with any kind of flea market. They had this massive table with a load of like vintage film cameras on it, which was pretty cool, but aside from this 4-lens camera and this Weathermatic, there really wasn't anything that was super worth picking up. As well, they seem to have this one film stock, loads of it across the entire market, and regrettably I didn't pick any up. So if anyone could shed some light on what the film is or like why they have it in the comments below, I'd be much appreciated. However, they did have about 1 million comedic lighters at this one table, so after about an hour of very serious deliberation, these are the two that we landed on. After we finished up at the market, we decided we'd head over to Lisbon Castle because it looked pretty cool, and unbeknownst to me, it was the home of every single peacock in Lisbon.
I'm filming. Wow. OMG. Oh. Harryshootspeople. Yes, you're joking. Look at him go. The quality on this, crazy. Oh, these ones gone down now.
Once home, it was another case of seeing what kind of classical, thought-provoking film we could put on to wind down to. Bom dia yet again, ladies and gentlemen. It's day 3 of being in Lisbon, and today I believe we're going to go and see what the Oceana de Lisbon is all about. That's an aquarium, not quite deep. We're going to bring the G1 as always. We've got one shot left of the Ultramax. Yesterday we had some adverse weather effects, not ideal, so I didn't end up shooting any of the Portra. So I'm going to bring with me today the Kodak Portra and the HP5, just because I think it's raining for the next couple of days, so the HP5 might be the best to load in and shoot over the next couple of days, but we'll assess the situation when we get down there. We'll see if we can take some nice pictures of the fish, or if they're shy. So let's go check out the aquarium.
Crazy quality. The quality on that, so hard.
And here's an out of focus picture of Maya that was totally worth getting told off by the staff for using flash. So sorry to the Lisbon Aquarium for that one, wasn't worth it. Naturally, by this point we were pretty hungry, so we decided we'd head out and see what Portuguese cuisine had to offer. So we headed somewhere we knew. get a beer in McDonald's. And after filling up on such lovely local cuisine, we headed home to take shelter from the rain and just people watch for a little while. On day 4, since it was surprise surprise raining, we decided we'd head out to the Mart Museum and Gallery, which looked really cool, so we set off burgeoning with excitement. Unfortunately, it was at this point that we got to the gallery after traversing the cold and the rain, only to find out the gallery itself was closed for renovations, which was certainly disappointing. However, we then headed into the cafe and I had probably the nicest brioche croissant I've ever had in my life and took this, which was probably my favourite picture of the day. So, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Although the gallery was closed, the museum side was still open and had some pretty cool exhibits, so it was still a nice thing to go and get to see. After a bit of an odd second exhibit, I found myself in the gift shop where I picked up this sunprint kit, which I thought looked pretty cool and could potentially be part of a video idea, so maybe keep an eye out for that later down the line. After visiting the map, we decided we'd head out for some food, but on the way there was this really cool high-rise motorway bridge thing, which just looked so cool, especially in contrast to like the pretty ordinary streets as seen in this picture. And then we saw this pretty cool scene of this kind of dainty cottage style building in the foreground, which was just being absolutely dominated by this massive structure in the background. I was actually really happy to get this picture. I'm really happy with how it came out in the end. At the time, I was worried that my lens wasn't wide enough to get both subjects in, which is kind of crazy because I was shooting on 28. But I opted to go for sort of halfway in between both subjects and get a little bit of both in, and it came out great. I'm really happy with this image, and it's probably one of my favourites from the trip. And shortly thereafter, we were greeted again by our old friend. Day 5 kicked off with a bang, and if by bang you mean light drizzle, you'd be right. Bom dia everyone, it is the last day, the last full day here in Portugal. The sun is kind of shining now, to be honest. Not probably for much longer, but we'll get the most of it. We're still shooting through that Portra. We've got about 16 shots left. and I do want to load up the Ilford and potentially maybe shoot at like 800 with that. So we'll see what we can get them today. Hopefully there's some nice scenes out and about. I think we're going to head over to a market, get some food, just go from there. So yeah, let's go. Sheltering from the rain, we headed into this cool looking antique store where basically every inch of the ceiling had a different chandelier hanging down from it, which made for a really cool scene, and I got two kind of nice photos out of that. I really like this picture in particular. I really like how clearly defined the sections of the image are. I really like this woman who's just looking straight at the camera. And much like with the photo earlier from the flea market, if you zoom right in on this mirror, that's us. And guys, if you ever find yourself in Lisbon, go and check out this really cool place called Collect. Just a really nice place, really cool people, really cool vibes. Would highly recommend. And much like all good things, it had to come to an end. Unfortunately, the end in this case means eating McDonald's on an airport floor. And just as this closing montage plays, I guess I'll chime in here too. I had a really nice time away and I thought it was a really good photographic trip. Admittedly, it was a little challenging with the weather and also my difficulty using the G1 kind of in general, but I think most of the pictures came out quite nicely. There's a few bad ones here and there, but overall I'm pretty happy, and there's definitely some standout photos in there too. I think it's really important to put yourself out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself, and I think shooting in a different country can really give you that new, fresh and interesting things to photograph. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, drop it a like. If you like the photos, why not comment something, and if you'd like to see more of my photography, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.